And all I have to do now is bring my leg on top of his leg, and I'm back in the top bolo again.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree.
Hello party peeps, this is a bold statement to make, but in this video we're going to show you the mechanics to counter every heel hook and maybe even every leg lock, but let's focus on heel hooks with the Berimbolo. Why is the Berimbolo such a good counter to a heel? This is because him and I, we want the same thing. We want to get in close and control one of my opponent's legs with both of my legs. Preferably, I want to control both of his legs with both of my legs, but we get into this. For the Berimbolo, let's say for the standard Berimbolo, I need a position, the so-called wedge. Okay? And this is when I bring the back of my right knee facing the back of his left knee, and I want to bring my left hip on top of his left hip. So I want to bring the back of my knee facing the back of his knee, and I want my left hip on top of his left hip. Okay, so what this allows me to do, this is the so-called wedge, and this enables me to lift him up and take his back. Okay. Normally it's really hard to get attached to him because he has no gi. So if there was a gi, I could grab him, I could attach myself. With no gi, if I try to do a Berimbolo from here, it's really easy for him to back away and I will not get into my position. Okay? The good thing is, however, if he attacks a heel hook, take any heel hook position, his goal is pretty much the same as mine. He wants our hips close, he wants to control my leg. All I have to do now is find a way to bring the back of my knee to the back of his knee and my right hip on top of his right hip. So we're already close. So all I have to do is alter the position to get to my wedge. That being said, most of the times it's a good thing to start Berimbolo right away before he gets control over my knee line. It's always bad if he has control over my knee line and he's trying to do a heel hook, but it's even worse if I want to do the Berimbolo. Why? Because as soon as he has good control over my knee line and is really tight and is controlling my hip, there's no way for me to turn. Okay, remember, I want to bring the back of my knee facing to the ceiling, and if he has such good control, it's really hard for me. So here would be a battle for me to free my knee line. Now I can turn again. Okay? And sometimes if he settled into this position, that's a nice pun. If he settled into the saddle, it's really hard for me to turn. But if I do it right away, let's say he does a back step. Yeah. And I turn right away, then I'm good to go. So it's the back of my right knee to the back of his left knee, my right hip on top of his right hip, and my knee line has to be free. And if I can apply those three principles, I'm always able to Berimbolo him. One more thing, here I showed you a way I went upside down, okay, to go to the Berimbolo. There are many other ways, and your goal has to be to find a way to alter the position from his heel hook to my wedge position. And I'm going to show you this now using different entries on different heel hooks. So we will start with the saddle because this is the basic and probably coolest interaction between heel hooks and Berimbolos. And this is from a standing position. If he goes to the saddle from the bottom, okay, remember like this. Remember, what do we have to do? Almost all the time, the leg that he attacks will be the leg I'm turning and trying to face the back of his leg with, okay? And the free leg, almost all the time, will be the one where I try to get my hip on top of his hip. So in this case, what do I have to do? This is his right hip, this is my right hip. So I bring my right hip to his right hip, and then all I have to do is turn this leg to face the back of his knee, like this. When I'm able to bring my hip over, I'm almost always able to turn my leg as well, and vice versa. If I'm able to turn my leg, then I will be able to bring the hip over, okay? I don't know one case where I should be able to bring this hip over, but this is so stuck that I can't turn it. This will usually not happen. So the third thing we said is, the battle here is, can he control my knee line fast enough? Okay, so if he's really high here with his knee, now it's impossible for me to move because all his weight is on my leg, okay, and I can't move here. Now, one thing is, I could be faster, so as soon as he lifts up, I'm going, but here I should have a good chance of just pushing this down. And as soon as his knee is below my knee line is free, and now I can turn, and all we have to do from here would be spin over like this, and we are the wedge. And this is a really good thing to practice. So you could even do this from an Imanari. Can you do an Imanari on this leg? Yes. It comes in, comes in for the Imanari, and I'm just faster. Spin and Berimbolo. This would be one way of Berimboloing the saddle. Now, let's start from seated position. This is basically the thing that I just showed, and it's the same mechanics that we just did, but sometimes it's a little different from bottom because there's the floor and sometimes I can't spin. Here it is basically the same technique. Okay, remember we brought this hip on top of this hip and turned this leg. And this is exactly the same thing that I just showed before. It's just, I'm just inverting. Now I'm in the wedge and can Berimbolo him. And here the same thing is true with the knee line. I showed this already. If this knee line is deep and here's some good control here, it's really hard for me to turn, or even if it gets to double trouble, there's no way I'm doing a Berimbolo from here, okay? I can do this, but I had to free my leg and then push this down, and then I might be able to go again. It is possible, just to show you why sometimes it's better to go right away. And another thing I want to show you is, for example, he is in the saddle. And now some people, if I'm able to hide my foot, some people dive for my heel. So they just go in here, they collapse here like this, and try to get to my foot, okay? All I have to do now is make him collapse even more, and what I can do now is bring this leg over again, and from here go to the Berimbolo. Okay, you see, those were 3 different ways to get to the Berimbolo from the same position, which is the saddle. I don't know, maybe you got a few more from the saddle, just post it in the comments below and we will take a look at another position. This time we're gonna look at the outside Ashi. Okay, we start standing again. So he has an outside Ashi, which is the single leg X, but the second leg is over. Okay, and here again, here are many ways to get to the Berimbolo from here. Okay, the most common way from here would be he's trying to attack my foot. Now, if I cannot free my knee line, this is the same principle, it will be really hard for me to Berimbolo. If he gets a good grip right away and now forces me to turn, most of the times I can't even get up here to force me to turn. Yeah, I have to turn. We end up here and he can finish me. Okay? So here it's the same method. I want to free my knee line. So if I'm able to free my knee line here, and it's enough that my knee now is not between his legs. Okay, I just need to come out here. Then all I have to do now is see the back of my left knee is already facing the back of his right knee. This is the perfect position. All I need to do now is bring my right hip on top of his right hip. So how do I do that? It's a simple back step. And this is the so-called top bolo, which is a variation of the wedge. Or let's say if I roll now, we will end up in the wedge and I can take his back. But see, back of my knee, back of his knee, top of my hip, top of his hip, I can roll. Common mistake from here, I see people do all the time. Let's change slide. Just like this. Kaum mistake from here. People are so used to inverting that most of the time they try to dive here. And if Hafu does not want to roll, just keep your base, it's really hard for me to turn it if I try to dive in. And even if I manage to do that, sometimes I'm too far away from him. My knees are facing him now. Now he can just pull this leg out and go back, and I lose my Berimbolo. So whenever you go to the top Bolo, remember, I want to fall in the same line as he does. All I'm doing now is lay flat on my back, okay? Like this. This is much better, okay? Just a quick tip. Let's look at other ways to get to the Berimbolo from outside Ashi. Another one would be, and you can always look for those possibilities if you try to apply our concepts. I don't necessarily have to go this direction. I can just bring my right hip on front of his right hip the other way around. So I stack him and bring it under here. Now, see, I have all the requirements I need. My knee line was free. I have the back of my left leg facing the back of his right leg, and I have my right hip, in this case maybe not on top, but directly under his right hip, and all I do now is sit back, keep my knees high, and expose his back. Okay? Here, another common mistake, people just fall flat to the sides. Okay, now my knees are facing him again, there's no leverage, but if from here I manage to sit straight down, I get a really good leverage. Takes back. The last one, the coolest way here, I borrowed this from Ethan Cranston, so please get his leg counter DVD, it's really good. If he has an outside Ashi here again, and this one is really cool, it's basically the same what we just did standing, just because there's the floor I have to go and invert. Okay? What I do now is I bring this leg under, now I invert over my shoulder, and all I have to do now is bring my leg on top of his leg, and I'm back in the top Bolo again. Okay? This one's really nice, I think, and just another way of trying to apply the principles we need to the position. So whenever you're in a leg lock, try to figure out a way to turn your leg, and if you're able to turn your leg most of the times, you can bring your hip right over and start Berimbolo. Okay, party peeps, while rolling I realized I forgot one of my favorite bolos from the saddle. And this would be this one, and this is another cool way to achieve the goals we had. So if he enters the saddle, almost always I want to turn away right away, because this will hide my heel, you see? So now it's hard for him to dig for the heel. And then oftentimes if they keep this knee flared, you can, with this grip, I mean it's technically an overhook, but it's under me, but overhook this leg, and now all I have to do is bring this leg to the side to free my knee line, like always. Then this leg will be the leg that is facing his leg, and this hip will come on top of this hip. And it looks like this. Here you can make really good pressure, now free your knee line. Now I'm able to move. See, if I go here now, my leg is already facing the back of his knee, this one comes over, and now I'm in the top Bolo again. And can take the back. So 4 ways from the saddle out. But leave your comments below if we have more. See you.